What's up everyone, I hope you're all doing well. In today's video we are going to be covering some of the macro things. We're going to do the dollar index, we're going to look at Bitcoin quickly, where it might be going in the short term. We're going to take a look at the dominance, obviously the HEX charts, some of the HEX ecosystem coins, some of them are rallying pretty beautifully, and we'll cover the stock market, etc., and see where we might be in the macro scheme of things. So let's jump right into it. Please like the button, click the like button if you enjoy these kind of videos. Check out the links in the description. Do claim your communist coin. We'll take a look at the chart quickly, and let's get right into it. Hopefully I'm live. I'm not using the okay, cool. Raymond says we're live, so it looks good. Thanks to the latest subscriber, Nordfin. Thank you for subscribing in the previous videos. So let's get on with it. So yesterday we got the CPI numbers, the core inflation numbers, as predicted or forecast. The forecast was 6.5%, and we got the 6.5. The previous one was 7.1% inflation in the US. So this is often called the CPI because inflation is not really this number, it's much higher than that. But according to the Fed, the inflation is coming down. Month over month, we got the predicted 0.3. So all of this is bullish for the market, and we can see the risk assets continuing to rally into the positive news. Although the previous times we actually got lower inflation numbers than was forecast, but still this is quite bullish as it is going down according to the Fed's plans. They wanted at 2% inflation. That is their mandate, so there's still a little bit more room to go. We are expecting a 25% basis point rate hike by the end of this month, or in fact the 1st of February we will get the rate hike. So as you can see, Bitcoin has rallied out of this double bottom we had down here. There was a small little double bottom here and a higher low down here. So this is your breakout level down here, which we have now claimed pretty well. Sometimes when you get a breakout like this, the market tends to come down to retest it. The indicators are pretty oversold currently, so I would expect a little bit of a pullback before anything happens. I think we do have bearish divergences here on the 4-hourly, so there is a little bit more indication that we are coming down a little bit. This is where traders or the market makers like to wreck traders, because after the breakout they tend to go long here, and they'll just go after these people's stops. So for this to continue, you want this to retest down here, maybe reset the indicators a little bit to the downside on the shorter term, and then there is technically a measured move. So the measured move from the bottom of the double bottom, you move it up to the breakout point, which brings you all the way to 21k, to just below 22k. And if you've got massive down candles like this, the market likes to come and eat all of this. So yeah, let's see if that does happen. Overall, the VIX, the volatility index, remember when this reaches above 45, this tends to be a bottom in the market, but the volatility it's pretty good for the bulls down here. So the bulls are taking advantage of the VIX down here. The dollar index, we have now officially broken below this uptrend currently. It's just BS. So technically it's holding support here on the weekly. We want obviously this to be rejected for the price to come get below this line, maybe get rejected and continuing down. But there is still quite significant bullish divergences. I mean, all the way from here already. You can see the indicators on the RSI is going lower, yet the price still higher, right? So, and these indicators are pretty low. So there is a strong chance that the dollar can reclaim its strength here and continue to the upside. I mean, this is quite normal, a retracement like this. As you can see back here, this tends to happen quite a lot. Large retracements right back to the mean. We've seen this happen before, right? Just pulls back and just continues to the upside. Now it's not as steep as it is currently. Maybe here it's a better example. See the strength of the dollar. It retraces to the mean and just continues to the upside. Hopefully that doesn't happen, because that would mean a lot more downside in crypto and Bitcoin as well. Now Richard Heart is obviously, and the X community is expecting lower prices, your 10k areas to be hit, which is obviously a possibility for Bitcoin. You need a rally like this, like I've said previously, for the indicators to get nice and oversold if you are going to be getting that last downward leg, right? There's the market, especially on Twitter and your influencers, most of them are already bullish, calling for bottoms. So yeah, that is a little bit worrying. There is a lot of optimism still in this market. Bitcoin dominance, we had this nice retracement. We looked at the crypto bubbles. The altcoins took off insanely. Look at, okay, so still a little bit more upside in the market. Nothing major. We can see HEX is displaying up here. A lot less upside. It's interesting that APT has been rallying. Now this is a new layer 1 coin by the control structure. Large people, especially Google is part of this. All of the major tech companies are quite invested in this coin. I expect it to do pretty well in the upcoming bull market, but interestingly enough that it is rallying quite aggressively here now. But this is oversold. This isn't good market structure. You would want this to maybe top out here and come back before getting in. This is where the little lady is interested. She always waits for it to come back to her. This can even come back to the 78.6 or even the 88.6 level. This isn't sustainable. This is a V bottom. Markets don't like to bottom like this. So this is just to say, don't chase, right? Don't chase the market. You need to wait for the market to come to you, okay? So we've looked at Bitcoin. Let's quickly take a look at Ethereum. So there's lots of drawings here. I can remove a little bit. We had that breakout. The target was met. We now have this larger breakout. We are getting some resistance at this downtrend. This is the daily chart for Ethereum. And we have been rejected, right? But there is a measured move. You got the breakout here. Don't be surprised once again if it comes down to retest the breakout point. This is called a sign of strength, right? If it finds support here, if it breaks down more downside. The indicators are pretty oversold. I mean, we haven't been this oversold since probably the top of the market, right? So it's a little bit dangerous here. I mean, let's quickly look at the fear and greed. No, that's the it's this one. So fear and greed, slowly trending up to the upside. Let's look at the max. So we are kind of breaking out because we are sitting at 31. We haven't been at 31 for quite a while since we had the previous rally, the FTX, before the FTX dump in November. So yeah, the fear or the greed is trending higher. That's the 3 month. We can see that we're actually breaking out of this little double bottom down here. So people are getting a little bit more greedy, although it's pretty low still. We still haven't even gotten into the greed area. We've looked at dominance, right? So good retracement and a pop off. When this goes up, remember the altcoins tend to struggle a little bit. And it's interesting that HEX is rallying with Bitcoin. This always happens. Bitcoin always leaves the altcoins behind. It did this last cycle as well, at the end of December. Just trying to find it. Let's go down to the weekly so we have a little bit more information. So down here it looked like Bitcoin bottomed in this area. Maybe we should lay over BTC over here and we can see a bit more clearer picture. Yeah, when Bitcoin finally started to rally out of its after the COVID crash, we had a little bit more consolidation and it bumped off. And you can just see how it absolutely destroyed the altcoins. You want the dominance actually came down. So the altcoins were pretty much wrecked up here, right? And when this goes down, the altcoins tend to do well. But you do want the altcoins to get absolutely destroyed before they get their day in the sun, right? So this is pretty much just consolidation. When this does finally break out, because this 42 level is a breakout level. If we can get above these areas, I mean, that's a clear breakout and the altcoins are going to suffer quite a lot. I mean, this is technically the breakout level here, and we consolidated at these lows, but we couldn't get at these highs, excuse me. But now we have broken out, and I mean, if we can close this weekly candle up here, maybe get a retest, the altcoins are going to suffer, right? But Bitcoin needs to do something to get out of these bottom areas, to give the altcoins a little bit more room to come back in the future. Remember, when Bitcoin is above its 200 moving average and consolidating to the sideways, the altcoins tend to do well, and you then get your altcoin season. We've covered the large coins, Bitcoin. We've talked about the VIX now going down lower. We've talked about the dollar index, right? Let's see if we can find support here. If this breaks down further, I'd be leaning to the side that the market bottom is in fact in. Remember, the market is a very efficient predictor. It tends to see things happen before it happens, like it's forward looking, right? So yeah, everybody's calling for a major recession. The news is darn bearish, and you would expect the news to be wrong, right? Because the news was super bullish at the top of the market, like nothing could have gone wrong here. And down here, it's death, right? Still in this downtrend on the S&P. We've been rejected here on the daily. That is an engulfing candle, and I mean, not much has changed. Another rejection at this this downtrend 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So eventually this will break. Indicators are pretty high. We've actually got bearish divergence here as well, because the indicators are going higher, yet the price is going lower. So that's hidden bearish divergence. Not the most powerful, but it's going to push the market down a little bit. All we want to see is this low hopefully be defended back here, right? So let's get to the X ecosystem coins. This is COM. I'm pretty amazed at how well it's been holding up. Do use the link in the description down below. I will get a 1% of the amount that you minted if you use my link. It is nothing, not a cost from you. It is 1% extra minted from the contract. So no one is losing. I am just gaining from it. So that's pretty cool. It's not costing you anything to claim through a referral link, but use anybody else's. What I wanted to say about COM, interestingly enough, volume is nice. The liquidity is 87,000 US dollars. My head is in the way here, but there is 64k pooled USDC, which that just simply means of the 87k that is sitting, the liquidity that is sitting here, 64k is buying volume. So you can see that the vast majority, in fact, of the liquidity that's sitting in this wants to buy in this area down here, right? So that is pretty bullish. If you do see this start taking off, this liquidity will tend to chase the market up, because retail is pretty inefficient. They're scared when the market runs away from them. You can't stake this coin buying it off the market, so I don't know really, except for what do you call it, speculation. There isn't much reason to buy this coin, but as we've seen before, speculation is more than enough reason to get into cryptocurrency, right? Many coins only have that feature, like your meme coins and Bitcoin as well. I mean, it really doesn't do anything. It's apparently a store of value, but any coin can be a store of value, right? We are technically still in the reload zone, so this is, if you're interested to get some of this, this is where the granny investor would be interested. Now, I'm not your financial advisor. This is simply what I do. I haven't bought any. I just claimed mine and I'm sitting on it. I staked 75% of it. So yeah, I'll just hold it and see what happens. I kept 25% liquid just to get back my claiming fee. I think it cost me like $16 to claim everything on one of my wallets. I haven't claimed it on other wallets. It's up 20% on the day. Icosa doing pretty well. This is the daily chart. We're still consolidating, and that's good. We're consolidating at these highs down here. The RSI can go a little bit more higher, so with Hedron pumping 20% today, and Hex is also up like 13%, right? So I could see this going up a little bit higher. Let's see where resistance might be at. So your first resistance is literally at $1.15. Yeah, so there's still a lot more room to go to the upside before you get significant resistance, right? I mean, we can look on the shorter time frames for divergences. This looks good. I mean, I can't say anything terrible about it. You had bearish divergences here. It has now played out. We've consolidated to the upside. This looks good. So yeah, definitely more upside left, but I mean, technically you are chasing it if you want to get it here. The granny investor, because she's patient, she will wait for the market to come down here. This is where value is at. We can also see it coming down, create, then you've got a double bottom, right? Good. This is called good market structure and a take off to the upside. I wouldn't mind it coming down here, but it does not look like it wants to come down. There's no divergences here on the daily, and there's more upside for this to get very oversold, like these areas back here. So that's Icosa. Let's quickly take a look at Hedron. So Hedron has broken out. You've got a nice double bottom here. Did it come back to the 61.8? No, it bounced off the pump chaser zone. So that's the 38.2 level. You have a measured move all the way to 1900. Let's just remove everything and see where we might be getting some resistance. So yeah, this breakout takes you right into the short location right here as well. This is the measured move you've got here from the bottom, and you can then layer that out to the breakout point right into resistance. So yeah, still a little bit upside to go. Let's see what Hex is doing versus Hedron. This is this chart over here. Just to remove the Bollinger Bands. This is the weekly chart. Hex is still got a lot more room to move versus Hedron because the RSI is pretty low, right? We can simply just come down to retest this moving average on the RSI. Let's check out the daily. So we had some divergences up here, momentum going down, price going higher. Yeah, so it seems like we might just fill this wick down here. So Hedron having a little bit more strength versus Hex. That can then reset the indicators nicely down here on the daily, and then a continuation to the upside. I don't think this move has played out yet. We had this perfect double bottom down here. Hex versus Ethereum, Hex versus Hedron, excuse me. That was actually a triple bottom because this was a low back here. So that's very good market structure. Powerful Hex versus Hedron. Let's quickly take a look at Hex versus Ethereum and Bitcoin, and then we'll come back to what the chat is saying. If you want me to look at other coins, do leave it in the chat and we'll get to that. So we haven't made the Wyckoff check yet. The Wyckoff check is down there. That just means the retest of the previous breakout. This is Hex versus ETH. A little bit more room to go, but it doesn't have to go all the way down to it. I mean, not much to say. This is a new low on the weekly. This was just Ethereum's strength yesterday, so that was a new low. So that means I think we do have a little bit more downside. This could be Ethereum outperforming Hex, but it does look like this Wyckoff check will be hit. So a little bit more downside there left. Bitcoin versus Hex also made a new all-time low here, but that's just the strength of Ethereum or Bitcoin. We've lost that support. The next support is the yellow line down here, and that is also the Wyckoff check. You can see the beautiful W back to here. That needs to be retested, right? So I think we've covered everything for today. Let's get into the chat quickly, see what you guys are saying. Raymond, what's up? The twin father, Hanshu, the man, love your takes. Thank you for the nice compliments. Junglist tendencies, finally get to catch you live in action. Appreciate your work, bro. It is my pleasure, dude. Mr. D, hi Hans, glad you're back. Can you show to see a Uniswap price for Hex on a specific date, please? My PLSX sacrifice value difference from Ether scan value by 14 cents, which is significant, right? Okay, let me reread that. Can you show see a Uniswap price for HEX on a specific date. So yes, you can. How am I going to show this to you? So you need to go to your Etherscan, find the transaction that you made. Okay, I'm just going to choose a random transaction that's going through on the year, whatever this is. Okay, let me pull it up for you, because this is a Flashbot. You find the transaction that you sent to the PulseX. Maybe we can, let's try and actually do that with a pulse chain address, so you can what is the leaderboard called? Pulse chain leaderboard, pulselead.xyz. Let's just put that up there. Okay, so we'll just use the Godwell. We'll view his transactions. We'll just take his account and paste that in Etherscan. So I pasted his contract address. You're just going to use your contract address, right? Find it in your MetaMask, or open up your MetaMask, press the three dots at the top, view on Etherscan. This will bring you to this one. Just go to the ERC20 tokens if you sacrificed HEX. Find the transaction. You will see it says out to Pulse, Pulse sacrifice, or in your case, PLS X sacrifice. You then click on the transaction hash. It's this link on the left here. This will show you the transaction, and you can see the value of HEX transferred here. And if you click on this, it says displaying the current value. Click to show the value on the day of the token transfer. And if you click that, you can see that this is now worth 12K, yet on the day of the transfer, it was worth 62K. And like that, you can then do what you need to do. You can see how much you sacrificed and how much you think you need. I hope that helped. That's just a little walkthrough and a little bit of chain analysis for you. We've now taken the 1900 level on Bitcoin while we were speaking, so there's still a little bit more upside on BTC. What we want to see is we want the price to go higher, the RSI pull back a little bit, something like that. So you have bearish divergence here, yet the price is going higher. And then you will see a clear reversal in the chart. How do you stake Commerce Coin? Raymond, when you mint your coins, you can select a percentage of the coins that you want to stake. But only through the minting function can you stake Comcoin, and not coins that you bought on the market. There isn't a stake function on the contract. It is only through the minting process that you can stake coins. So okay, so Mr. D, I see you pasted the day here. We can also look on the chart what the price of HEX was on that day, but I suggest you go and do it through your back end through Etherscan. Okay, let's just see 8th January 2020, 8th of January. Okay, so it's up here. 2022. This is the 8th up here. Let's just get the marker out, and then we can go to shorter time frames. This is the 8th here. I would need to change my UTC time to UTC flat. So London time. Let's go to the shorter time frames. Here we go. The time was 11 AM probably. That was exactly before the pump. So the price was 25 cents. So there you go, Mr. D. Thanks for that, but the amount on Pulse Lead differs from the Pulse Chain amount. Pulse Lead uses Uniswap, but I don't know how to check that. The Block Explorer Etherscan will give you the exact same amount, just like I walked you through here on the second, because the blockchain is what you need, right? You need to use the back end. So this is going to show you exactly the price was. Then just divide the amount that you had, that you sent, by that, and that will give you the exact price that it was when you sent it in. And if you do have an issue, send them a DM. They have on the Pulse Exchequer, right? The Pulse Chain Sacrifice Checker. It's this website. I'm just going to close that quickly. pulsechain-sacrifice-checker.vercel, and you can message the devs here if you do have an issue. Yeah, so I suggest you go message them if you have an issue. Okay, can you look at more token, Mr. Trevon James's token? I did some analysis on it, so I see it's pumping a little bit. So this looks pretty good. I mean, this is the 3-day. You've got a double bottom down here. This is technically where you should be interested. This is where retail will be chasing this. Now, this is not an endorsement to go out and get this. I'm simply just looking at the charts because that's what I do, right? I hold zero of this coin at all. If you want to be a granny investor and very, very greedy with your money, you can wait for it to come down to the 61.8, which would be at the 53 cents area. This is where value is at. It's kind of left the building already, or left the train station already. You need to wait for it to come down a little bit. And I'm pretty sure if we look on the daily, I mean, it still has a little bit more room to the upside on the indicators, but this is not where I would be interested. I would wait for this to either get into the reload zone or for it to maybe come down into these oversold areas and get some down there. This is dangerous up here. Yeah, and that's what I would say about that. But on the overall scheme of things, you have a double bottom. That just means, and good market structure, you just want these lower lows to be defended, all right? And we've now made a higher low, which is good to see. And the market will just, but then you need to learn risk management, right? How I manage my risk is I never put in more than 5% of my overall portfolio on any which poo coin. So yeah, this will just trend down here until you get your alt season, which would be in about 2 years' time after Bitcoin tops out or after Bitcoin goes on its major run. Remember, Bitcoin is set to top out by the end of 2025, the start of 2026. So those few months before that is when all of the altcoins will pop off, right? And that's when you want to be in position. So you're going to have to sit on your hands, maybe sell half when this doubles, and yeah, etc., etc. Try and get back into it when you've sold half. There's many different ways to play it. So yeah. So that's more token. Pulse Lead uses very helpful, but the numbers are 14% different. Tried to report that on the site, but could not. Was waiting for V3. Thanks for the effort, mate. Yeah, if you feel like there's really an issue, you just keep on trying. Maybe DM Richard on Twitter or on Telegram. Yeah, I'd be pretty bleak. Just make sure you are taking into account the bonuses, more people coming in after you, because it's been a lot of time and there's more sacrifices that's come in afterwards, right? But either way, you just have to check it out. I think we've covered pretty much everything today. Have we looked at the hex chart? We haven't looked at the hex chart yet. Yeah, I told you guys that we might come down to retest these levels down here. This is your breakout point. We have done that. This is a sign of strength. There's still a little bit more upside on the indicators, or quite a lot. Up here would be scary. This is where Bitcoin's at. And yeah, so this isn't terribly bad. Yeah, there's not much to say here. Resistance is up here, so there's still a little bit more room to go to the upside. I'd be pretty surprised if we don't get to the 3 cent area. If we do get the version 3 come out soon, I'd expect a little bit more pump, and that would be your topping out up here somewhere. Okay, with that being said, thank you guys for watching. I will